Hey guys, welcome back to Cooking with Michelle. Today we are going to have a sweet potato frenzy. Today we're going to start with sweet potato cheesecake, and I'm going to begin with the crust by crushing these graham crackers that I have in this bag. You would need a mallet, a hammer if you don't have a mallet. This is really a tenderizer that I have, but you can have a mallet. And I'm going to use this to get these graham crackers as fine as I can to make a cohesive crust. Sorry, y'all. Today, I don't seem to want to be speaking right. I'm going to flip this over. See how fine they are on this side. There we go. So we need 1.5 cups of crushed graham crackers. So I have my dry measuring cup. You're going to measure this out. For baking, you need precise measurements. This is a dry measuring cup. And I need 1.5. That was 1. And this is my half cup. Now, even though I have extra, I can use these later on to make another crust or anything that I want to make with this graham cracker. You can store them in a dry container or in the freezer to keep fresh, and they will be fresh for your next use. Oops, sorry, we need to melt our butter. This is a 1/3 cup of butter. And I'm just going to use the microwave to start it. I'm going to add my sugar in. That's 3 tablespoons of sugar. Just mix this while the butter is melting. And just mix that real good. Our butter should be melted. Yes, it is. It's just some melted butter. I'm going to pour in here. And mix it all up. You're going to get everything wet with the butter. And for this, unless you don't want to use the 9 or 10-inch springform pan that's in the directions of the recipe, you could always buy those already made graham cracker pie crusts that they sell in the store. You can buy them and make more than one sweet potato cheesecake. This recipe probably would make about 3 of those crusts. So that's all ready. We're going to prepare our pan, our springform pan. I'm going to use this baking spray. You can use butter or margarine and flour. That's what our grandmothers used to use. But then as we got older, they gave us easier stuff to use. I line it with parchment paper that I cut out, that was already cut out. You buy them already circled at the store, Michael's or any place they sell baking stuff. And then we're going to pour our crust into the pan. Get it in there evenly. And you can actually use the bottom of your measuring cup to spread it out. I'm going to lift this up and show you in a minute because you see how it's in there. And this helps it spread a lot easier. And you want to make sure you get it to all the edges of the pan. And it's okay if it comes up above the edge of the pan. You actually really want it to come up above the edge of the pan. And I tell you, me as a home cook, a lot of times I don't measure stuff and I just pour them in there, pour it in a bowl, start mixing it and getting it together. Voila, we have the crust for our pie. We're now going to start with the cheesecake portion of our sweet potato cheesecake. And you're going to need 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese, a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla. That's in 2 eggs. Two large eggs. Just going to move everything so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I have a stand mixer. You might have a hand mixer and it'll still be the same. When I first started baking, I had a hand mixer. Then when I started cooking for more and more people, I wanted to be able to do more things at the same time. So I invested in a stand mixer. You're going to pour the sugar in and your vanilla. We're going to pull this down. Always lock it if you have one. And we're going to set it to low and let that mix up together. And as that is mixing, let's talk about our sweet potato portion of this recipe. So once it all incorporates, that's when I'll add the eggs one at a time. So this sweet potato is a roasted sweet potato. This one is a boiled sweet potato. You can use a boiled sweet potato, or you can put all your sweet potatoes in the oven at one time and roast them if you need to be free to do something else when you're cooking. Like me, I'm really preparing for Thanksgiving. And we as a family, because majority of my children are married, they have other families to spend time with on Thanksgiving. So we celebrate the night before Thanksgiving. So you just peel the potato, and it's actually a little easier when it cools off. This is cooled. And you can see the difference in the way they look. When you roast them, the sweet potato flavor gets enhanced. It pulls out more of the sugar, natural sugars that's in the sweet potato. This is a masher. I'm going to mash this. I do have some potatoes in here that I had already prepared for mashing. It doesn't take long to mash them. If you don't have a masher, you can use a large fork or a large spoon to help you mash them. So these are all mashed. Now back to our cheesecake filling. It's all mixed together, so I'm going to put 1 egg at a time. As the other egg disappears, mixed already fully into the batter, then I'll add the other egg. So as soon as you don't see any more yellow, you can add your next egg. Our cheesecake portion is already mixed. I'm just going to lift this up a little bit so that the cheesecake comes off the spatula. I'm going to remove this one. Just try to get all that goodness off of this as much as I can so we can have it for our filling. Wrong way. I'm going to set this bowl aside and begin our sweet potato pie part of it. So this sweet potato mixture is the same recipe that I use to make my sweet potato pies. So I'm actually also going to make some sweet potato pies at this time. So I doubled this recipe to be able to make my sweet potato pies. So before we do that, let's just get a couple of pie crusts in the oven. These are store-bought pie crusts. You can make pie crusts or you can buy them from the store. It doesn't matter the brand or the depth, because these are regular pie crusts, but they also have deep dish. If you like a deeper pie, you can buy the deep dish, but these are regular. And I'm just going to put these in the oven. I like to par cook, as they say, my crust, just so that it's more crispier when it's served. So I only put them in there for like 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so they're in the oven. We're going to keep a lookout for them. I'm going to grab my eggs. My butter. My cinnamon and nutmeg. Vanilla. Sugar. And brown sugar. Now, I want you to remember that I said I doubled this recipe. So when you cook yours, you will not have as much in your bowls as I do. Now we're going to make our sweet potato mixture part. And I have nutmeg is doubled, so it's 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. We're going to add our eggs. I'm using 4 eggs because the recipe is doubled. And for this, you don't have to worry about when you add everything. And the sweet potatoes are cool, so you don't have to worry about it cooking the eggs. So you want to think about that, because if you're sweet potatoes, if you're in a rush, you might want to slow down, or you add everything else before you add your eggs. This is the brown sugar, white sugar, our butter, because it's doubled. Remember, it's 2 sticks. And I use sweetened condensed milk in mine. When I make the single recipe, I only use 1 can. You want to try and get all your goodness out that can too. It doesn't matter the brand. So if you're looking and you're trying to say, well, what brand did she use? You can use a store brand. You can use any brand that you find on the shelf of sweetened condensed milk. We have all our ingredients in the bowl. We're going to lock it. Turn it on low at first, just to start getting everything mixed up, because you don't want it to start flying out the bowl and flying everywhere. There we go. Turn it up to medium so everything is fully mixed. Can you guys hear me over this mixer? Because I just want to show you some things. Inside my cookbook, there are some pages to help you learn of the different utensils and everything you use. And this is a liquid measuring cup. It can be glass, it can be plastic, but this is a liquid measuring cup. This is a dry measuring cup. And some people say it don't make a difference, but it really does. The measuring is off just a tad bit, but when you're baking, it makes a big difference. Just wanted to throw that little tidbit out there just in case y'all watching this before Thanksgiving and y'all want to follow these directions. That you want a liquid measuring cup and a dry measuring cup. All right, let's get this mixed up a little bit more. We're almost quite there. I'm just trying to push down what came up on the sides. Okay. All right, we are all mixed up. This seems like it's a hard recipe, but it's not. Just go set that aside. Off. Stir it up a little bit just to make sure everything is incorporated. I'm going to bring it back over here so y'all can see. So now we are done with the mixer for now. I'm going to bring our cheesecake mixer back over. Before we do this, let's check on our pie crust. Just how I like it to be. So let's just stir this up. It's okay, it has sweet potatoes on it. I'm getting ready to put the sweet potato mixture inside the cheesecake mixture. And I know that I need about 3 cups of this. This is a 1 cup mixture, or 1 cup liquid cup. Guys, so we're going to set this aside and we're going to mix the two together. You want to make sure it's well incorporated, unless you're one of those people that like to see your cheesecake in your mixture. You could leave it half mixed like this and you'll have swirls when you pour it into your springform pan or your pie crust pans. I like mine to be all mixed up. See, so there we go. It's all ready to go into the crust. So we're gonna pull our crust. Our pan's already been sprayed. And you're just going to pour it in. Take your hand, shake it around a little. This is to get the bubbles out of it. that might form when you was pouring it into the pan. And it's all ready to go into the oven. So let's walk this. Well, let's get the pies ready first. Now these are the pie crusts, just cooked a little bit. So now when they go back in with the sweet potato, it's going to be nice and brown when they come out. That's one. And we have two. Two different types of desserts, both made from sweet potatoes. Sweet potato cheesecake, sweet potato pie. Now let's get them in the oven. And they're going to take anywhere from 55 minutes to an hour, depending on the type of oven you have and how fast it cooks. It may take a little bit more than an hour, but you want them to be browned on the outside and fully done on the inside. Just like a cake, you'll take a toothpick and stick it in the center and then when it comes out clean and dry, you know that your pie and your cheesecake is ready. So we're going to put these in the oven. So while the pies and the cheesecake is in the oven, I'm going to whip up some sweet potato whip. Now, normally, before I put the eggs in the sweet potato pie mix, I'll take some of it out so I can make this. So since I didn't do that this time, I'm just going to quickly make this up. And we got some sweet potatoes. We got some cinnamon. I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm just going to do this off the top of my head like I normally cook when I'm in the kitchen. And just whip it up real quick. We got some brown sugar. This is only 2 small sweet potatoes, so yeah, I'm using the recipe, but not the full recipe. And you know, when you cook, you're supposed to cook from your heart, so you really cook how you like to season stuff. You might be like, that's not enough cinnamon. She didn't put enough cinnamon in there. Add some more. You can do that. And then I'm going to mix this up. So now, in this recipe, it calls for a cup of powdered sugar. So we're going to get a cup of powdered sugar. My thing should fit in here, and it did. Shake a little bit of excess off. Add that in here. And it calls for 1 container of Cool Whip. And this is good. I used to make this at my job. I worked night shift as a nurse, and I used to make this and take it in as one of our desserts. And you're just going to whip it all together. And I started making the sweet potato cheesecake because I saw a recipe one day in a book for pumpkin cheesecake. And in it, it had the cheesecake on the bottom and the pumpkin pie on top of it. And I was like, oh, I should make that with sweet potato pie though. And not, I don't like pumpkin. I don't know. It's just me. Because people be like, oh, once you have, I don't know. I don't like pumpkin pie. And it's crazy because I'll eat a pumpkin muffin and a pumpkin donut. But pumpkin pie, I'm not going to eat that. I don't know why. And I've tasted, so don't say, oh, you can't say you're not going to eat what you don't like when you've never had it. I've tried it, and I still don't like it. But this sweet potato whip is something that's really good. And the sweet potato cheesecake, and like I said, I just mixed mine. I was like, I just want all the flavors in one bite. Even though if you cut into it, you get it, but it's still different when the cheesecake isn't mixed with the sweet potato to me. But some people like it that way. They like it with it not mixed. And you could also do yours like that. You don't have to mix them. And this is our sweet potato whip. And it's good. My hands are clean. It's nice and light. Tastes like sweet potato. But that's not how you eat it. I'm going to show y'all right now how you should eat it, how you should serve it. So, I got this set up. These are Biscoff cookies. They're like a cinnamon cookie, but they're really good. They're like a cross between a cinnamon cookie and a shortbread cookie, one of my favorites. And you can just set them out for people when they come. And this can be set out either during dessert, or if you just want to set it out in the beginning for people to just have something to snack on of your get together or your party. But it is really good. So you're getting the gist of this, right? I don't really have to finish decorating this and then. You're just gonna put it in a nice bowl. You have those little lazy Susans that you sit in the center of your table. You could always put it in there and literally, they could just dip. Make sure you tell them no double dipping. That's why I broke my cookie. Okay, now let's do some prep. Because Thanksgiving is coming, and like I said earlier, we eat on Wednesday night. So I'm going to prep my candied sweet potatoes. And like I said, these are the boiled. I like to have mine cut in rounds. They ain't really round, but they look like rounds once they cooked. And my grandkids, they don't tend to like to see the large pieces of the candied sweet potatoes. They like theirs to be mashed. So instead of cutting them, I just smash them with the potato smasher. Just cut straight through. Finish lining them up in the pan. It doesn't matter if they tight, because once we make the candied syrup, it's going to go all through each and every one of them. So So you get as much in there as you want. And like I said, we have a big family, so on Thanksgiving, there'll be about 22 people here to eat. But some don't eat the candy yams, so this dish will still be plenty for everyone. And like I said, the children likes the smashed ones better versus than these ones, so I'll make the smashed sweet potato for them. And there we go for that part. Now we're going to concentrate on the candy syrup. Now on to the sauce. We need 2 cups of water. First, let's turn the eye on, okay? Okay. So that's all. Now let's pour our 2 cups of water into the pan. We're going to add our brown sugar. Our white sugar. Our cinnamon. Our vanilla. And our Karo syrup. K-A-R-O. This is the dark one. They also have a white one, but you want the dark one in case anyone have never heard of or know what Karo syrup is. There are some people I know that use it for their pancakes. A lot of, older people. Did that just to get everything out. And we're going to add our butter. And I know I keep saying butter, but you may use margarine. They measure the same. One's a little bit richer, but they both do the same thing. Even if you cook plant-based and use a plant-based margarine or butter, I have used them and they cook the same, measure the same. I'm just going to stir it. You want to cook it until the sauce thickens. But you want to make sure all your sugar is melted and from off the bottom of the pan. That's why I'm still stirring. And you are going to stir this quite often, because you want it to get pretty thick like a syrup. And then the rest will thicken up in the oven. But you can see how it is a different color, and you can see how it's thickening up as it cooks. So we're going to let it thicken up. All of these recipes are in my new cookbook, Cooking with Michelle. You can purchase it at cookwithmichelle.com, and it has a little bit of history on when I started to cook, when I learned how to cook, and just a good little story. It has some techniques. It has a lot of recipes. It goes from breakfast to dinner to a holiday meal for those that are cooking their first holiday meal. Purchase at cookwithmichelle.com. Come cook with me. It's boiling. You just want it to get nice and thick. So if it's boiling too much, turn it down. You don't want it to burn. Burnt sugar is never good. So while we're doing that, letting that cook down a little bit, let's take a peek at what we got in the oven to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And yes, it is. Oh, that smells good. Smells real good in here right now. This is when you cooking and you cooking a big meal for other people to come, and all you just smell this the whole time you in the kitchen. And a lot of times you eating it while you cooking. So you don't know, you be like, I don't know if I'm going to eat when they get here for dinner because I done had everything. But we cook and everyone brings a dish or two or three. So we have a lot of food for everyone to enjoy, different choices. We cook fish, beef, turkey. We don't cook pork, so we have a turkey ham. So that replaces the pork, you know, the ham, and everybody enjoys that. We have all kinds of dishes, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, roasted vegetables. I'm trying to think of the meals they cook because sometimes they like to throw something different in on us. Oh, cabbage, string beans, collard greens. Yeah, it's a whole soiree of food. And, oh yeah, this is getting there. Oh yeah. It doesn't take long. Oh yeah, it's all ready. So we're going to turn this off. We're going to grab our cut sweet potatoes. So we're going to pour our glaze over top of our sweet potatoes. I'm right-handed, so I got to turn it around a little bit. And you're just going to pour it on the sweet potatoes. All of it. You want all that goodness. Because like I said, once it cooks in the oven, it is definitely going to thicken up even more. And it's funny, I have an aunt that one holiday we were all there, the family was there, and we was in Delaware, and we ran out of sweet potatoes. My aunt went into this kitchen and made sweet potatoes in 10 minutes. A whole dish. She still ain't told us how she did that because there was no microwave. But those sweet potatoes tasted the same way they did when she first cooked them. They were so good. So now that's the sweet potatoes. I'm actually not going to bake these. I'm just preparing them to be cooked. So I'll let them cool all the way off before I put them in the refrigerator. And then I will take them out late Tuesday night when I'm ready to cook everything. Because like I said, we eating on Wednesday. We have a Wednesday Thanksgiving. So that's why they're not going in the oven. When I put it in the oven, I'll put it on 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. And when they come out, they'll be nice and soft and glazed and deliciousness. I thought that wasn't going to come out right, y'all. But yes, deliciousness. Now, through the magic of TV, because like I said, we're cooking for a large meal. I'm going to grab a sweet potato pie and I'm going to grab my sweet potato cheesecake and show you it because I have to fix double of everything. The sweet potato cheesecake has been cooled off, refrigerated for 2 to 4 hours, and now it's ready to slice. Oh, look at that. That went down nice and easy. Now we're going to go and lift this up. All right. Sweet potato cheesecake. Looks yummy. Now we're going to switch to the sweet potato pie. And this you can serve warm. It doesn't have to be cooled, but it can be. So remember I was talking about that par bake in the pie crust? See how that is? And it's brown underneath. Nice and brown all over. I know I just broke the crust, but it's still edible. Sweet potato cheesecake, sweet potato pie. And we showed you the whip. You want me to bring it back over? I'll bring it back over to y'all. Sweet potato whip. 3 different desserts, all made from sweet potatoes. Sweet potato frenzy, y'all. This is what Thanksgiving is about. Good food and giving thanks. Giving thanks for the things that God has provided us with to eat. And who knew that a sweet potato could make so many delicious things? You can find all these recipes and many, many more in my cookbook, Cooking with Michelle. For more detailed instructions or anything you want to know, check out cookwithmichelle.com. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.